If you ever wondered how you actually spend your time on your Mac, or perhaps you're a freelancer, consultant, or someone who needs to keep track of hours worked, then this video is for you. Tracking your time manually can be very tedious, but having an accurate picture of where those hours go can make a huge difference in how you plan your day and manage your workload. That's why I'm teaming up with the team over at Timing app to show you how I use this application to automatically track how I spend my time on my Mac. It runs quietly in the background and gives you very detailed insights into everything you do, from which apps you're using to specific files, folders, and websites you spend your time on. If you ever wanted a simple, automatic way to understand how productive you really are, or to know exactly where your time is going, this app makes that process effortless. As a full-time consultant, I'm no stranger to tracking my hours so that I can assign them to the correct client. Unfortunately, at work this is still a very rudimentary process. A lot of manual input and not much insight afterward. That's very different from my experience with timing, which I've been using for a few weeks now to track how I spend time on my Mac. I've really enjoyed having this level of visibility into where my hours go. Of course, Apple has its own screen time feature, but it's nowhere near as detailed. Screen time gives you a broad overview, but it doesn't let you categorize activities, create projects, or generate detailed reports. It's not really built as a productivity tool, but more like a simple summary. With timing, I can dig deep into every minute spent. I've been using it mainly to track how much time I dedicate to creating YouTube videos for this channel. As I plan on growing the channel, it's important for me to know how much time each stage takes, from research and scripting to filming and editing. That way, I can see which parts of the process consume the most effort and where I can improve. If you're a freelancer, consultant, have a side hustle, or just want to be more productive, this app is genuinely helpful. It's the kind of insight that helps you work smarter, not harder. With that said, let's go over the features I found the most useful with timing. One of the things I immediately loved about timing is how detailed it is. It doesn't just say, you've used Safari for 2 hours. It actually shows what you're doing within Safari. It logs which websites you visited, which files you opened, even which folder path or project those files belong to. For example, if I'm writing a script in Notion, it shows exactly which page within Notion I was working on. Here, you can see I spent a lot of time today on the Notion page for this video. If I'm researching on YouTube or reading articles online, it logs the time I spent on each site. It can even show which email inbox I was in if I'm replying to messages in mail. All of this happens automatically without me ever needing to start or stop a timer. At the end of the day, I can look back and see exactly where my hours went. It's like having a timeline of my entire day, and seeing it all broken down by app, document, and website is both fascinating and sometimes a little humbling. This next feature is where I think this app really shines. Timing lets you organize all that automatically tracked data into projects. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I use my Mac mainly for personal things and for YouTube work, since I have a Windows laptop for my day job. So I like to keep things very simple with just two main projects, a personal project and a YouTube project. But what's great about timing is how flexible it is. You can go into as much detail as you want. For example, under my YouTube project, I've created subprojects for research, video script, filming, and video editing. This helps me see exactly how my time for each video is being spent, whether most of it goes for writing or if I'm losing hours in the edit. Timing also makes assigning activities to projects really easy. You can simply drag an activity to a project in order to assign it to that specific category. Of course, doing this for all of your activities would be very time consuming, so timing allows you to create rules that automatically categorize your activities. For example, if I right click on my YouTube project and go into Edit, I can see here all the rules I've created for this project. I can create a rule from this screen, or if I go back to the unassigned activities, I can drag an activity while holding the Option key down, and that instantly creates a rule. From that point on, timing will automatically recognize that activity and assign it correctly. Once these rules are set up, you don't have to really touch it again. For me, I like setting everything up once, making sure it's organized the way I want, and then just letting timing run quietly in the background. It's a very set it and forget it kind of system. If you like what you're seeing so far, make sure to use the link in the description to get 20% off your timing subscription. With that said, let's get back to the video. Another powerful feature is time entries. This is perfect for those times when you want to manually group or adjust parts of your day. You can select a block of time from the timeline and assign all those activities to a specific project. For example, if I spent a few hours switching between Safari, Notes, and YouTube doing research for a new video, I can highlight that entire block and tag it as research. That way, all of those smaller activities are summarized neatly under one project. You can also fill in gaps with manual time entries. Maybe you stepped away from your Mac for a meeting or a call, and you want to add this time to your project. You can add that in afterwards so your record stays complete. It's a simple way to make sure the full picture of your day is represented, even if you weren't at your computer the whole time. Apple ecosystem lovers will really appreciate this next part. Timing integrates directly with your calendar and reminders app. For calendar, you can choose which calendars you want to show up inside timing. I've added my YouTube calendar so any events I schedule there, like filming sessions or upload dates, automatically appear on my timing timeline and are linked to the YouTube project. Then there's the reminders integration. Whenever you complete a reminder, it appears on your timing timeline as well. I've enabled this only for my YouTube reminders list, so I only see these tasks that matter for content creation. If I mark something like email creator for YouTube collab as done in the reminders app, it shows up on my timeline. It's a subtle but satisfying way to see my completed tasks lined up with time I actually spent on them. This means I can see both what I planned and what I actually did all in the same view. It gives a nice reality check between my schedule and my real world activity all in one screen. And finally, let's talk about the Zapier integration, which opens up a lot of creative possibilities. Zapier lets you connect timing to other apps so you can automate what happens with your time data. For example, you could automatically send your timing entries to a Google Sheet for tracking or analysis. Or you could sync your time logs with Google Calendar so each project appears as a calendar entry. You can even set up a workflow that posts to Slack when you start working on something, which is great if you're collaborating with a team. Essentially, the Zapier integration turns timing into a hub that connects your time tracking data with any other tool you use. I personally have no need for these integrations, but it's nice knowing that you have that flexibility. You can start simple and later build out automation as your workflow grows. So that's how I've been using timing. My plan is to keep tracking my work to see how productive or unproductive I'm actually being, but more specifically, to understand how much time my YouTube channel is taking and where that time is going. Over time, this data will be super valuable. For example, if I see that each video takes me say 12 hours from start to finish, that gives me real insight into how I'm working. It might help me decide how much to charge for sponsorships based on the time investment, or maybe even justify outsourcing editing someday. The main goal is awareness, knowing where your time goes so you can make smarter decisions about how you spend it. If you're looking for a way to get the same level of visibility into your own productivity, whether it's for work, personal projects, or creative work like this channel, Timing app is a fantastic tool to try out. Thank you to the Timing app for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.